In today's world of AI, hacking has gotten unsettlingly smart. But what if I told you the most powerful hacking tool wasn't hidden away in some secret server farm, but was actually sitting right in your pocket? Today, we're going to dive into how AI is completely changing the game of cyber warfare and how you can understand the very language it's all built on. So let's just jump right in with a question that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Can a hacker really figure out your password just by looking at a picture of your keyboard? And the answer, yeah, shockingly, it's yes. It's called the dull key attack, and the logic behind it is actually pretty simple when you think about it. The keys you press the most often, they get worn down. So an attacker just has to snap a photo of your keyboard, feed it to an AI, and that AI is trained to spot that subtle wear and tear. It's not getting tricked or anything, it's just analyzing the image, identifying the most faded keys, and then boom, it starts generating password combinations based on the characters you use the most. It is a chillingly effective use of machine vision. And that brings us right into our first section, hacking in the AI era. Look, this isn't just about making attacks faster. It's about making them smarter, way more deceptive. Attacks that are designed to target the weakest link in any security system, us, the people. So forget the old school attacks you think you know, because the game has totally changed. We've all been trained to spot those bad phishing emails with the weird grammar, right? But this is a whole different level. This is smart phishing. An attacker creates a perfect pixel-for-pixel clone of a login page. You put in your username, your password, and even your two-factor authentication code. But here's the terrifying part. A script running in the background is using that info to log into the real site at that exact moment before your 2FA code even expires. Your best defense is basically useless in seconds. That's why you have to be so vigilant. Check that URL and look for the padlock symbol every single time. So naturally, our digital defenses have had to evolve, especially when it comes to our Wi-Fi. And this lock analogy, it breaks it down perfectly. Think back to WEP from 1997. That was like a simple door lock, super easy to pick. Then came WPA, which was better, but a duplicate key could be made. WPA2, which, let's be honest, most of us are still using, is a really strong lock. But if an attacker can capture a digital handshake, they can just sit there and try millions of keys until one works. But WPA3? That's a game changer. It's like having a fingerprint scanner, because it uses individualized data encryption. Every device gets its own unique key, so even if one thing on your network gets compromised, the attacker can't spy on everybody else. Okay, so we've seen what these modern attacks look like from the outside, but to really get how they work, and more importantly, how to defend against them, we need to go a little deeper. We have to learn the native language of the machine itself. And this isn't about clicking on pretty icons. It's about giving direct orders. This is the Open Sesame command. So most of us use what's called a graphical user interface, or a GUI. We see icons, we click on them, things happen. But there's this whole other way to interact with a computer, the command line interface, or CLI. It's just a black screen with text where you tell the computer exactly what to do by typing out commands. And honestly, here's the perfect way to think about it. Remember the story of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves? To open that treasure cave, he couldn't just knock or push the rock. No, he had to say the magic words, Open Sesame. That right there, that's a command. It's a specific instruction that gives you a very specific result. The command line is just a series of those magic words. Let's make this super real. In a graphical interface, you want to open your Downloads folder, you tap the Downloads icon. Easy. In the command line, you type cd downloads and hit enter. That CD just stands for change directory. The end result is exactly the same. You're now inside that folder. But the method is completely different. You're speaking the computer's native language. Okay, so this whole command line thing sounds like it's for supercomputers and hackers and dark rooms, right? I mean, it seems complicated. Well, what if I told you that you could access this exact same power on the phone that you're probably holding in your hand right now? Let me introduce you to Termux. It's a free app for Android that gives you a full-blown Linux terminal environment. And the best part? No special hacking or rooting is required. You don't have to be a genius to do it. You can just download it from the App Store and instantly have access to the same powerful command line tools that the pros use. So let's pretend we just open Termux. First thing we want to do is see what files and folders are even here. To do that, we type our first command, ls, which just means list. We press enter and bam, the phone tells us we have 4 folders, Cool, Dog, Hamza, and Rohit. All right, cool. Now let's actually create something. The command to make a directory, or, a new folder, is mkdir. So we'll just type mkdir project_alpha and hit enter. Now, it looks like nothing happened, but trust me, behind the scenes, that command did its job. So how do we know for sure that it worked? Easy. We just run our list command again, ls. And there it is. Our new folder, Project Alpha, is now listed right there with the others. We just manipulated our phone's file system using nothing but text. This right here is the fundamental power of the command line. So now we've seen both sides of the coin, these incredibly complex new attacks and the surprisingly simple, powerful language that they're all built on. Which brings us to the most important question of all. How do we use this knowledge for defense? So here's your checklist for staying secure. First, always check those URLs. Second, use WPA3 Wi-Fi if you can. Third, go to your router settings and disable WPS. That's the little push to connect button that's notoriously easy for hackers to break. And finally, be so careful on public Wi-Fi. An attacker can set up a totally convincing fake network, like Starbucks_free Wi-Fi, to intercept everything you do. It's called an evil twin attack, and it is a classic trap. So this is where we end up. The command line, AI, all the tools we've talked about, they're neutral. They can be used to build incredible things, to learn, to create, or they can be used to break things and cause a lot of harm. The power's just sitting there, literally in your pocket. So the only real question left is, how are you going to use it?